Welcome to Triple M NRL Daily on your Thursday. It's Charlie White here, and we've got a very special crew. The one and only Luke Keary in the house. How are you, Luke?
Good, mate. How are you?
Mate, I'm going fantastic. And I'm going fantastic because the guy to my right is here again. The one and only rugby league guru. How are you, Guru?
I'm going good, mate. Unreal to have footy back. We're back in the tussle of it all. It's fantastic. In the washing machine.
Absolutely. Mate, your prediction, you came on here, you made the big call. Eels beat the Storm. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I only missed it by 48 points. It was tight. Bit of a shocker from me. I sat there 10 minutes into the game when they scored the 12 and went, I'm a genius.
Yes.
I'm never going to leave this show. And then, I felt like as soon as there was some heat applied to Parramatta, they just folded like a deck chair. It was, I just don't understand how you go to Melbourne round one and your absolute number one priority isn't complete sets.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a very difficult place to play.
Yeah, okay.
Like, you can have all the best intentions in the world, and then you get out there and Grant's coming at you, Munster, Hughes, far longer. You get in a hole because they started well. They didn't miss the start. The Jack Williams sin bin hurt them, but they scored first with 12 on the field. They just, if you don't complete against them, you're in big, and they can go back to back to back on you. So they found themselves. I don't think they were far off, but I don't think they're super far off as a club. Like, they'll turn it around. Yeah. Maybe this week.
It was just as soon as those 2 6 agains went to Harry Grant and that set of six, and he scored off the end of it, it was just red rope.
Mate, they're so hard. Everyone's spoken about the momentum this week, about the 6 agains. It is so hard to stop when it starts going. That's why I reckon one of the most impressive performances was the Canberra. 15 minutes, didn't touch the ball. Horsburgh, Tapine, Papali'i had to tackle for 15 minutes. I thought they were gone. I nearly went, this is over. 14-0. I was like, this is over. Like, these boys aren't going to be able to recover. And
they lost Josh in that as well.
And they lost him.
HIA. Crazy. Yeah.
Speaking of the new rules or the tweaks of the rules, the six-man bench, did Parramatta get it wrong with bringing on Papali when Yongi went for the HIA? Because it was pretty obvious that Yongi was going to pass that HIA. It looked like he was just lying down milking the penalty, but the doctor ruled him that they had to go for a HIA. Did they make the mistake by bringing on Papali?
Yeah, I think they did. I think few teams got it wrong. Like, even, I won't say the Roosters got it wrong, but they held Connor Watson back. I don't know why this has not come from the inside, but maybe they held him back just in case there was an OB injury and Cody Ramsey could have gone on, or Toby Rodwell was on there for a half. Like, I think teams will hold that last interchange back, and it's going to hurt those versatile players like a Connor, but there's going to be some, mate, it's hard to follow.
Yeah.
It's hard to follow because, with a four-man bench, you can see a strategy in it, whereas the six, you're just going, this could go anywhere.
Yeah, I thought Jason Riles, though, in that moment, I couldn't make any sense of that. When you're lucky enough to have Dylan Walker in your side, and also there's HIAs that you go, he won't be back.
Yeah.
Then there's Iongi when you go, I know he'll be back in 10. Put Dylan Walker there because it meant that they couldn't use Sam Tuivasa.
Yep.
The other decision that I thought, and I get he hasn't played in the preseason and everything, but I watched Luca Moretti play reserve grade. It's like watching a T-Rex on the loose. He should have been in first grade in that side as well. So I thought when you've got Dylan Walker in your team and you've got two hookers that you want to play, you've got to get your four-man bench correct.
Yeah.
And I just think they missed the mark there.
Yeah, and they clearly were absolutely exhausted in the middle there for that second half. Like, they were completely gassed. On the Eels, they've offered Mitch Barnett a 3-year, $2.6 million deal. He's obviously 33 years old, coming off an ACL injury. Like, that's huge money. That's huge money, but it's also a very long-term deal for an older player.
Yeah, it's a different one. Like, Brisbane are keen too. I reckon his peak was probably last year. Like, he's in his peak now, which is it's not kind of rare for a forward, but to take that through to 36 will be difficult. But I was really lucky. I ran him in Origin camp. He's an alpha. He's great for the team. Everyone loves him. He will be a great addition to those squads, and I feel like Parramatta, they do need a player like him. He'll be there whether they keep Junior or not. But yeah, 33. They end that at 36. Maybe that last year will be difficult.
33 is such a daunting number to look at that. Like, if it's 31 or 32, it changes so much. But even as you said, if it was a 2-year deal, that changes a lot for me. But I also, I just wonder if he brings enough value in those first 2 years that maybe you sort of cop it on the chin there. If it means that he doesn't
Yeah.
go to Brisbane, maybe you are better off just to have him in the building.
Yeah, it's like the Jason Taumalolo one. Like, I think that was a good deal. Even though these
Still, even now.
Well, the last couple of years, but what he did he
Mm.
was unbelievable for those first few years. And people don't realise what players bring off the field. You know what I mean? Like even Jared for us, he didn't play those big minutes his last 3 or 4 years or 2 or 3 years. But what he brought to those young guys, the Nafahu Whites, Lindsay Collins, Spencer that last year, is a lot those guys can bring at training and off the field to kind of strengthen your organisation.
Yeah. You talk about the middle for Parramatta. This week they moved Jack Williams into the middle. I'd much prefer him as a middle player than on the edge. I think he's not got the best hands in the game anyway, Jack Williams, but then playing on the edge, I feel like their middle is a lot better when Jack Williams is in it.
Yeah, I think the only other thing coming off that is that when you concede 50 and he's made the decision not to pick Kelmer in the side, I don't think Riles would be stoked with being forced to bring him into the team. I think he's put Jack Williams on that edge for defense. So to have to move him, I prefer him as a middle as well, but I think Parramatta as a whole, they probably look better defensively when he's on an edge. So, mate, Kelmer, he's got so much ability. We've been waiting 6 years to see him put it together. I hope this is the moment he turns the corner, but I can't say I'm confident on it.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, that left edge got torn up. I think it'll be a different game. Like it'll be a different game with Brisbane. They don't play like Melbourne. But yeah, they do need to fix some issues in that middle. Like I love Kelmer too. I think he's a great player. I was surprised he wasn't there last week, but they've got some work to do.
Yeah. Well, let's talk this game in depth tonight because it's a fascinating contest. I mean, we're sitting down here and I said to you boys, I think Parramatta might beat the Broncos. And Luke, you've watched something that you think that might be way off the bar.
Well, obviously the noise around Brisbane, it is what it is. I think Parra they'll both be really disappointed, but I had this feeling, and then on the way here, I was watched Madge's presser where he's responded to Gordy and Braith on 360, and then said, "Tell them to come and watch training if they want." And I know exactly what he would be doing behind the scenes, and it is a full blown siege mentality. Lock everyone out. Here's what's been said. Slap it on a wall, and he'll have them ready. If they're not ready to go, then like bring me up the first 10 seconds of next. They will be ready to go. It's at Suncorp again. They'll feel embarrassed about what happened round one. I think I'll flip. I think I'll flip back over. Ezra Mam will start, Madge said, and I think they'll be ripe.
What did you make of Ezra Mam coming off the bench last week? That one surprised me.
It was bizarre, and it's been explained now that he was injured. Whether or not he was, well, we just got to take him for word that he was. I would probably still gone the other way and started him and said, Ben Hunt, just be ready if Ezra doesn't make it through. But it's not out of character for Madge to do that. He's always been that stay on your toes. Your spot's never safe. We're always here competing. I see it in the sense of how Reece played at the back end of last year with Billy Walters, Ben Hunt and Reynolds there. Thinking if you can just have two really square halfbacks and get Reece some space out the back, I see that. But I also, Ezra Mam, Dally M, 5'8" of the year a few years ago, he's their second most explosive player.
Tell you what I can't quite work out with his spine, and you've played with him, you'll be able to talk more about it. I'm just, Reynolds and Reece Walsh, are they on the same sort of page? I mean, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is. Reece Walsh, he just seems to play better footy when Adam Reynolds isn't on the field. And what you put that down to, I have no idea. I think he's one of the best halfbacks in the game. I love Adam Reynolds, but I think the evidence, it's becoming overwhelming at this point.
Yeah, I think theoretically he's perfect for Reece. Like, give Reece space out the back. My thing with him, Corey Pakes had 0 runs on Friday. Reynolds had 2. Ben Hunt had 2. Like, they need to help Reece because the year after the grand final in 23, so 24, our whole entire video was just on Reece. It was like, if we can stop Reece and Payne and Pat through the middle, we'll be right in this at the end. I think it's getting to that now. That's why Ezra for me is really important, but that's why I think they need to run the ball. It's not just pass the ball to Reece out the back. They need to run the ball. Reynolds isn't renowned for it, but He's dangerous when he does run.
I think to Reese's credit as well, I think if they're not playing Penrith, he still probably lays on 3 tries.
They left 2 or 3 out there, yeah.
So, but yeah, when you come up against that Penrith side, it's just different gravy.
Is it panic stations for whoever goes 0-2?
Well, if Brisbane go 0-2 at home, then they go play Melbourne next week. Like, they probably won't be panicking inside, but I can tell you every single show, every single article will be on that, and the noise will get ratcheted up. And there's a chance they go 0-3 like, playing Melbourne. Yes, Parramatta, probably a different story. You can understand, they lost to Melbourne. The way they lost probably wasn't acceptable. And you can understand this week coming up against the Brisbane side, coming off that defeat, okay, they, cop another tough game, and then they go play the Dragons round 3. Then that's the one they'd circle and go, they have to win that. So there's a lot on the line for Brisbane. There is a lot on the line for Brisbane early in the season. Premiers from last year, like
100%.
it's hard to say, but
It's going to be so noisy next week if they lose this game. Like the media is just going to lap it up. It's crazy. I'll tell you, like
360 will be rubbing their hands together. Big Gordy.
I thought, like obviously in that loss on the other night, there was a couple of red flags and whatnot. I think they can turn it around. Whereas I thought the bigger red flag was Pat Carrigan's comments about PNG. The timing of that, I thought, why this week, Pat? Why now? I found that bizarre.
Bizarre that it hasn't got as much attention as it deserves as well. It's huge. You've just lost Payne Haas. Pat Carrigan's the guy who's the alpha now moving forward. He signed until the end of 2028, and he's coming out spruiking himself at PNG. It's bizarre.
Yeah, I thought Kempy summed it up really well. He sort of went, Payne Haas leaving is devastating, but Payne's been trying to leave for 5 years. That's been clear. He's a New South Welshman. There's all these other factors. Carrigan's their guy. Like, Carrigan should be the captain for the next 10 years, realistically. He has been for 5 since he was about 7 years old. Like, I find that unbelievable that he made those comments this week.
I found it a little bit out there. Like, when Toby Rudolph comes out and says it, it's a laugh. You know what I mean? Like, it's when Pat Carrigan, he's going to be the captain of Brisbane Broncos. He's been there forever. He said, even what he said about, I've learnt that this is a business and then it'll be a business decision. That's concerning for me. Like, I know as a player, you try to keep the noise down during those periods of your career. Like, just let it sort itself in the back. I don't want to bring any extra attention to myself. I don't want to start a story that's not there. This is 2 years away too. Like, I think Pat's not off contract till
End of 28.
End of 28.
Yeah.
And it's also like they've just lost Haas. They've just lost Reynolds. Like, money's not going to be an issue for Brisbane.
Yeah.
They're going to have it to keep in there.
The thing with PNG, and this is going to be Chamus's biggest strength and maybe their biggest weakness at certain times, but he can talk to players through the media and players can talk to him through the media.
Yep.
So someone coming out saying, oh, that's an interesting option, I'll definitely look at it. Like, you can talk to Chamus through the media. He's listening and watching that stuff, and then the communication can happen in the background. But you're going to start seeing a lot of players. But for Pat to do it, it's a difficult one to understand.
It's obvious what he's doing, though. Like, Pat Carrigan has also said he knows it's a business. He's thinking, all right, Haas's money's off the books. Upgrade me. Time for an upgrade. I think he's on around 900, Pat Carrigan. He's like, all right, make me a $1.1 million player or next couple $100,000 a year and upgrade and extend me. Like, that's what he'd be doing. That's why he's doing it. He might have zero interest in going to PNG, but he can get himself an upgrade. And, why not do it? Now's the time to do it when all the pressure's on Broncos and they need a good story. Like, Carrigan's playing this perfectly for himself, obviously.
I know we think like that, but I know 95% of players do not think like that. Literally, I promise you, maybe their managers might at certain times, but if you want an upgrade and you think there's money there, get your manager to walk into Troy Thompson's office at Brisbane and go, hey, mate, Pat Carrigan here wants to stay at Brisbane for life. Can we sort something out? That you don't.
So you think it's a genuine interest in him to go Papua New Guinea?
He would not have said that.
Yeah, wow.
Without you don't say it.
I tend to go down
players
the same
don't
avenue,
say that, Charlie.
Yeah.
They don't. Can you think of another player that's come out
and try to push for an upgrade? Off the top of my head, no.
Or push for another, say they're interested in going to another club.
Yeah.
Mate, to be honest, what Chamus has done in the last 3 weeks, it's very good. Everyone's talking about Papua New Guinea. No one's speaking about Perth. Mao's obviously come out to create a bit of noise. But it's an interesting game that's going to be played over the next 12, 18 months.
I think Chamus in particular, we all know him. We know what he's like. I think the general public really underestimate
Yeah, big time.
how good he is at what he does, Chamis. I think a lot of people just sort of see a journo that they see on shows and everything, but the guy's a genius.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see how it all plays out.
He's a genius. He works hard. He'll be angling for everything. There'll be things going on at the moment. You know, we all think, it's going to be Willie Peters or Brad Arthur or Adrian Lamb's the coach. There could be other coaches who come into the mix. There could be guys he's talking to. He's a I was going to say schemer. Schemer's not the right word, but he's a hard worker who's intelligent, who can make things happen.
It could be your coach right now, realistically.
Yeah. Trent Robinson. Who knows? Is he happy at the Roosters? We're going to talk about the Roosters.
Hang on. Go on. You're going to make that
No, sorry. I was saying that to the listeners. Your coach, like, Chamis is that powerful.
Oh, your coach. Yeah.
He could pull the rug from anyone, realistically, here.
And I think fans are underestimating this tax-free dollars, and now players are coming out and expressing their interest in it. This team they have in year one is going to be unbelievable. The team they have in year two is going to be unbelievable. Really, if they don't win a couple premierships in that 10-year tax-free period, they've done something dramatically wrong.
Yeah, I was actually talking to, my brother's in New South Wales Cup and talking to some of his mates over the last few weeks, and I sort of thought, probably a year or so ago when this tax-free money came up, I sort of thought, I don't know how much that'll actually sway these guys to go there. It's swaying them a little bit more than what I thought, to be honest with you. Yeah. So it's going to be I sort of thought they'd end up with a bunch of guys coming to the back end of their career or maybe in and out of first grade, but it sounds like it might turn out a little bit better than that from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I feel for Perth in this. I feel like they should have been given some kind of incentive. I know the AFL with Tasmania, they're giving them signing bonuses. So it's obviously the club and the AFL decide how much, but there's a bonus there for guys that are going down, giving them incentive to move down to Tassie. There probably should have been some kind of financial incentive, I think, for the Perth Bears.
Definitely. Because the AFL they also did it for the Suns and the Giants and
Gary Ablett went there.
Exactly. So it does feel a mistake. I mean, I also think the Perth have handled it incorrectly as well. I mean, we spoke about this earlier in the week on the podcast. The stuff they're doing around their media is really poor and low quality. Have you seen their Instagram page, Guru? You're an Instagram expert. It's absolutely
Can you
dreadful.
talk us through their strategy?
Mate, it's a very interesting approach how they're going about it. Even just little things, and no one else will probably care about this outside of me, but you make these big signings and it's dropping at Monday at 6 a.m. and they look like they're working at a cafe in a black t-shirt. Just all these little things. And I'm like, oh.
And it's every single one's the same as well.
Yep.
It's this same Canva tile that they're posting for everyone. It's like, bloody hell, you could get a social media intern from uni, you could do a better job than what they're doing.
Even even just a little thing like when they launched their first line of merch the other day. I thought, beautiful. I'll grab some, have some for the studio. It took 7 weeks to arrive. I'm like, why are you advertising it if you don't have it ready to go now?
Yeah.
Crazy. There's a few things there. I think the guys they're signing are probably a little bit better than what I thought they'd be, if I'm honest, but optically it is a bit strange.
Let's talk about you, Luke, because you've played for Australia, New South Wales and Ireland famously. What do you think of Kalyn Ponga choosing the Kiwis and would you have him in the side over Keary at this stage?
Yeah, it's not a surprise. I think he's privately made this known to a lot of people around him. He's pulled out of a couple of Australian commitments. He played in the Nines tournament.
He played in the Nines tournament for the Kangaroos, yeah.
A few years back. Yeah, it's good if it's what he wants to do. It's the country he wants to represent. That's totally fine. Would you have him over Keary? Yes, you would. When he's at his best, he's arguably the best player in the game, the best fullback in the game. So I'd love them both in that team. One at fullback, one at 14. Like Keary can play that 14 role.
Yep.
Get him on, get him around the ball. I think it's great for the World Cup. Like it's like that Ponga Hughes combination. It's going to be Marshall
Brown,
King. If Cheese can come good, he fits in somewhere. Dylan Brown, like they're going to be strong. We're going to see. There's not too many players. I think I went through it today. You got like your Billy Smiths, Victor's obviously at England. Sam Walker's eligible, but that won't happen.
Ethan Strange eligible for England as well.
Ethan Strange, that's probably not going to happen too. He went on that Australian tour, but I wouldn't. He'll be the Kiwi fullback if he pledges.
Reading about KP today, I read a thing that there's a board that has to approve this change on it. I'm going, what do you have to approve? Bloke wants to play for the Kiwis. Let him play for the Kiwis. What are we
100%.
talking about? It's the best thing for the game. If that's what KP wants to do, let him go.
100%. Could not agree more. Like, who cares if he's played the Nines?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, who gives a toss?
There's a
if he's
reason why
played the
that didn't
Nines?
come back.
Yeah. You think he's going to play Origin again, Ponga, this year? Do you think with the six-man bench, like, because obviously Walsh is going to get the fullback jersey, you have to assume. Do you think he's on the six-man bench, Kieran?
He'd be on mine. Yeah, I think I'd make a spot for him. It'll be interesting to see what they do as far as Billy Slater. He's got a lot of options there, but mate, especially if he's playing that role that we think he's playing for Newcastle this year, where he's almost playing halfback and fullback. I don't know how you could leave him out. I'd have him there for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely there. He's definitely there. I think Reece is their fullback, but Kalyn will definitely be there as a 14. He's done it in that Origin arena before, and he can literally fill in everywhere. Like, I'd play him as that lock role where they played DCE there for a period. Cooper Cronk had to play it. Michael Morgan played it.
Yeah.
He's that perfect for him.
He's played off the bench in Origin as well before Ponga. This weekend, there is some incredible matchups. And I want to go, first of all, to the book of feuds, the Roosters v. the Bunnies. Now, Luke, who do you actually want to win? Are you just a Roosters man through and through these days?
Yes, I am. Roosters.
Yeah. Roosters, so you just turned your back on the Bunnies, the club that gave you your debut, the club that you won a premiership with.
My last game against them was the last round in 24, and they were out of it. We beat them, and I got taken off the last 5 minutes, and I got absolutely hammered on the sideline, like the "you are a wanker," absolutely hammered. So I was right. They definitely don't. They definitely don't want me anywhere near them anymore.
Did you get a lot of shit at the time when you switched from Bunnies fans? Obviously, because, I mean, your situation where you left, it was...
I think they were happy to see me go in the end. So, like, obviously, Angus got a lot because he left at a time where he was their young superstar player, representative player, and he walked out on him. I was more, let's get this kid out of here before he causes any more trouble. So it was kind of like a mutual party. I think the fans were like, yeah, let's get him out of here. Get out of here. So not too much, but yeah, when I played against him, yeah.
What year did you leave?
Yeah.
Was it like
end of 16? So I got to the Roosters in 17. Great decision.
Yeah, what a whirlwind few years for you. That's crazy.
When did the incident happen with Russell Crowe? Was that end of 2015?
End of 2015, yeah.
Yeah. And
so 2015 was that year we had that bit of a hangover from the premiership. We started well. I remember there was a market on us after, say, 4 rounds for when would they lose a game this season.
You were red hot early, yeah.
And we ended up losing like the last 7 or 8 in a row, bowed out week 1 to Cronulla, and then 16 was an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
And that kind of was the beginning of the end, I think, for Madge. I think Madge went in 17 the year after, but the history between the clubs, like I was thinking about it today, I was like, from when I got there, like we had the 2014 semi-final, the prelim. We had the 18 prelim against them. We had even 2019 round 1 when Cody grabbed Cooper at the SCG. We had the Sam Burgess, Billy Smith saga in that same year. Like after that, 2020 we lost to them 60-4.
Yeah, wow.
Like, and then we had Latrell Manu, Jai Arrow on Teddy when Saluka Fafita came in. And then Simbin Sunday, obviously, the big one. But 2024, 2025, nothing. We are due.
We are absolutely
due. And I hope it's not a fan running on the field hitting someone. But we're due some. I reckon this one's going to be big.
Yeah.
Souths have their tail up. The Chooks will be disappointed with what they served up. Come back home first round. It'll be sellout. I think it's going to be a sellout. I reckon we're in for something.
Do they do anything different at the Roosters this week? Do they lean into the rivalry? Do they show you a history for the players who aren't across the rivalry?
No, it's mentioned. Like we speak about it. The players speak about it. Every now and then it gets mentioned. Like, boys, we know what this week's about. Like, we know how much this means to the fans and the board and all the supporters. But it's not. Yeah, you don't go too deep into it.
Just Souths?
No, similar.
Similar,
yeah. There's hate. There's hate from both sides. It's genuine hate too.
Yeah.
It is genuine hate. This goes through to the commercial departments and everything. I'm telling you, like petty things like signage and things like this. It's genuine hate.
Yeah. Well, it's at
the stadium drama.
I was going to say that. Is it been played at the Bunnies' home ground or the Roosters' home ground? The Bunnies want to play there.
Trelliant.
Yeah.
He said that last week again. He's the best.
But what do you think about this game, boys? How do you think it's going to go? I mean, all the talk this week's been about the South's left edge. and the Roosters right edge. And now on that right edge, they put Siwa Wong, Guru.
I'm a huge Wong fan, always have been, but I cannot make sense of this decision. Putting him with DCE after they had Nat Butcher there last week, you have all preseason to prepare for this. You have Butcher on that edge, and after one game, you make that change. I think Wong in attack's a great player. Defensively, I have my concerns, and him with DCE, I think marking up against Dave Fafita, I think it's a big worry, and I can't make sense of it.
Yeah, that's the battle for me. That can the Roosters improve that right edge defense, and can they stop Cody, Dave, Latrell, and AJ? I think that's where the game gets won. Like, I think both middles are going to go at each other. That South middle the whole dynamic has changed with Cam there. Like, Keon's turned into a genuine alpha front rower of the league, and Cam just gives them. Like, you watch him now and you go, you only have to worry about Cody. Now Cam can play on the other side with Jai Gray. Like, it's dangerous. The Siwa things, it's an interesting one. Obviously, they went with Nat there. Nat's probably known for his defense, being a defensive back row. I think he made over 50 last week. Maybe it's I don't know this, but maybe it's an attacking thing where they've gone, we need Siwa out there, like running at Cody and running at Dave, because I think Dave Fafita made 12 tackles last week. Cody made 8. I can guarantee you they're going to make more tackles than that this week. Latrell made 5 or 6. It's going to be a different game.
You mentioned Cam Murray there. Like, I think there's a handful of guys in this league that I think their value goes up when they're not on the field. Mitch Moses, Cam Murray, that South Sydney side looks completely different with him. And when I was watching that game, all I could think about was State of Origin this year. I cannot wait to get him back into the Blues side. He is such a weapon, Cam Murray.
He was the best lock in the game, along with Isaiah. Them two are the best locks in the game, in my opinion. So he comes straight back into that side as a middle. But yeah, watching him last week, you realise, like, wow, this guy he's one of their most valuable players, one of the most valuable players across the NRL.
What's your favourite memory as a player playing in this matchup?
I've been fortunate to be on the right side of the big ones, like 14 prelim. Obviously, South got the Roosters. We beat him in the 18 prelim when Cooper got injured, and then we beat him in 19 in the first final. So in all the finals, the only one, the Sunday sim bins, like, haunts me. It haunts me, honestly, because we were coming good that year. We had such a good team. Teddy gets knocked out, and the whole game and we beat them the week before the opening of Allianz, and I felt like that was a missed opportunity for us that season. But the 18 prelim was a big one just because of the circumstances. Coops goes down. Probably things are going. They were the best attacking team in the comp. We'd done so much work on how to stop them. They didn't score a try against us. I wish we got to play a grand final against each other.
Was that at the SCG, that game?
It was the last game at Allianz.
The last game at Allianz.
Last game at the old Allianz. Paul Momorowski got the last try over in the left
corner. Did he really? That's an unreal trivia question.
Yeah.
That is so good.
Those finals were good, but the drama of the games is what gets you. Like, even as a player, you're going, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Who's going to explode, or is someone going to go at someone? I would love to have seen Victor out there for this one.
Have you got a favourite memory? Now, people accuse you of being a Roosters fan, don't they?
No, I get a lot of accusations every week, but that's one of them. Yes, on a long list, that's right up.
But
the
that's
top
not
of them.
True, is it?
No, of course not. Fan of the game.
Fan of the game. All 17 teams.
You don't have a team.
No, I don't. No, I'm a fan of you, mate. I'm a fan of all of you guys.
Okay.
You know?
Wow.
I know.
Blues is my team.
Blue, okay.
Yeah. Mate, as a fan, I think, take me now. I've seen it all.
Yeah,
right up
100%.
I think the one that really gets slept on, though, is, I think it was the year before that when Boyd Cordner burst through, a young Boyd Cordner, and he put in, I've never seen Boyd Cordner kick a football, and he put in a perfect kick. Minicello catches it. Like, those moments there are unbelievable. And I still remember the night in 2002 when South came back into the comp, and it was, they got absolutely dished that night. But, the bell and everything, everything around it, the emotion around that night was pretty special as well.
Who are you tipping?
I like Souths.
Obviously, I think the Roosters. I think South feel good about himself, which so they should. They played really well, but there was a point in that Dolphins game where they were wobbling. Cody kicks the 40-20, then they get 2 repeats off the back of it, 4 sets in a row, game over. They scored a try. I think the Roosters, they know this is a very, very important game for them. Back at home, they'd be embarrassed about last week. I think it's a real close one, but I think they get the job done.
Now, the game I'm looking forward to most this weekend is actually the Tigers-Cowboys because I really am intrigued by the Tigers this year. I haven't got a read on them yet. It could go really well for them. They've got so much promise. Their team looks good. Benji Marshall's dropping vlogs.
Oh, how good's the new documentary?
I know. Did you like what you saw from Benji?
I did. I watched it last night because I was interested in it. As a player, I wouldn't have watched it, but I hope it's not for the cameras. But I'm intrigued. But I thought they tried really well, which I'm actually sorry. I'm not going to say that.
Trial form means nothing.
I'm throwing that out the window. Sorry. I'm excited for them. There's huge question marks there, but I'm more intrigued on the other side of things. Like Todd's already under a little bit of pressure from different people, and if they go to Leichhardt and go 0-2, they go Titans, Storm, Dragons after. It is. I think there is a little bit of panic stations there if they go down there, and Tigers going to be right up for it.
Yeah, I think as far as the Cowboys go, like I feel like he's been on the edge of losing his job on a number of occasions over the last few years, and they just do enough to keep him in.
Get him by.
Surely they have to start to look past that level, right? Like if he's not going to get a proper response out of him, like we always say, he got him to a prelim. It's 2022. Like we're getting close to half a decade ago now. They haven't been overly relevant since then. And it just worries me that every time he's going to go, they do well enough to keep him in the job. I think the Cowboys have to lift their expectations. With the squad they've got, they should be competing for finals football, in my opinion. And if they're not, I think they probably need to go in a different direction, realistically. I don't think just good enough is enough anymore. They've been through this enough.
Well, if they lose this one, they got Titans next week.
Yeah.
And imagine if they lose that one. They've lost to, 3 of the bottom 4 teams to start the year, or bottom 5 teams to start the year. That'd be disastrous, Luke.
It would be. This is, like you said, it's one that I'm looking forward to, that and the Penrith Sharks game, but it's nearly a must-win.
I think
it's nearly we need to get the job done here because they would have been super disappointed. A lot of people backed them to get the job done against Newcastle in Vegas. Macassini at centre. I was a little bit surprised. He did so well in the trials on the wing, and I feel like for a young kid, you go on, get on the wing, take your 10 to 20 carries, finish off tries for us, play tough. Centre's a different game.
From what I've gathered as well, it's left centre. So Taylor May's playing right centre too. So
wow,
a lot of changes there.
That'll be Tommy Dearden's edge, which I'm guessing a lot of the ball will go down.
Yep.
It'll be a tough ask because he had a few decisions in that Penrith trial. Nathan threw the ball over his head at the start of the game where Brian Toto scored. So it's not easy. It is the most difficult place on the field to defend.
I think Payton's not got much of a leash here as well if things start to go badly. I spoke to someone who's quite high up at the Cowboys when I was over in Las Vegas, and talking to them about the plans around Payton and what they've given him this year. They've given him good assistance. There's no excuse around the assistance. There's just, you get the feeling they've given him everything he wants now, and if it goes badly, it's on him, and he's going to go this year if it goes badly as well.
Well, you look at it from that angle, then I look at it from the player angle, and I look at their team and go, I like this roster. That forward pack is just full of representative players. Cohen Hess, Taumalolo, Lukey, Nanai will come back into it. Like Lodge is coming off the bench. Cotter's there as a lock. There's no excuses for me. Like Tom Dearden, one of the best halves in the comp, steering them around. Defensively, he's been where they've struggled. They struggled again. Over in Vegas. Yeah, things need to turn around really quickly for them.
I think as well, there's good teams on paper, and then there's also good teams that you look at and you go, they're suited to the modern game.
Yep.
I think this team is incredibly suited to the modern game. They just haven't been able to put it together.
Yeah, they were big in Vegas. I watched that down on the sideline. They started with Hess, Taumalolo, McKaylee came on Lodge. They were big. And from that round one, if things go against them, which it did, I think that Taumalolo had an offload early in the game that went to Newcastle. If they don't get the possession right, it's going to be really, really difficult for them.
The worrying thing too was that Newcastle were good, don't get me wrong. They weren't perfect. Well, they still gave him plenty of opportunities, and plenty of shots there. And I understand, Drinky obviously went off the field and all that sort of stuff, but they need a huge response in this game.
What do you make of Kai Pearce-Paul and the Tigers bringing him in? He showed flashes of potential in Newcastle, but didn't go amazingly well for him. But you think he's a good buy, Luke?
I do. I like him. I watched him in the Ashes. He was a little bit disappointing in the Ashes. Like, came up against him in when he played for Newcastle and went, wow. His first few games here were like offloads, big, rangy thing. Reminded me a little bit of Kickow with probably better skill. And then he kind of plateaued. Obviously, things didn't work out at Newcastle, but he needs to make it work here. Like he needs to be that X factor back rower for him because I love Finau on the other edge. I think he's a terrific player. If they can get it right on both edges and give Luai a chance, it'll be big for him.
I think it'll be an unreal signing. I think up in Newcastle, as you said, mate, his first few games, he had the offload. If you watch him play over in England before he came over here, it was like Sonny Bill. He's holding the ball in one hand, offloading at will. But I think in Newcastle, and I think a lot of guys over the last 2 years were scared to make mistakes up there. They knew their spot wasn't safe, all that sort of stuff. So I also think the other thing in Newcastle, mate, being a right-hand carry, he should have been playing on the right edge the entire time. They shoved him on the left, and it was never working. So hopefully Benji just gives him a license to play his natural game on the right edge. I think it'll be a fantastic signing for them.
I worry about him a little bit defensively. Like, so even those two back rowers, they're not renowned defensive players, both big, rangy things, great attacking. The young centers, Macassini, Mays, still unproven as like a top end defensive center, great attacking player. Like I worry about them defensively if things start to get difficult on those edges. What happens decision making time?
The other thing they've got to get this year is another front rower needs to jump out of the ground. Like Terra May can't be playing 80 minutes every week doing everything for him, whether it's, I love Bolle, but he hasn't quite been able to hit his peak yet. There's a couple of other guys there, but they really need someone to step up into that role.
Well, Royce Hunt was brought over there to be that guy. He's disappointed probably with the season he had, but he's the one for me that has to step out and help.
Have you seen him?
Yeah.
He's looking trim and good. So fingers crossed this is the year for Royce.
Who do you like, boys?
I'm going to lean towards the home team. I'm going to take the Tigers at Leichhardt.
I think they'll be up for it.
Wow.
And there'll be a bit of noise next week too.
I'm going to go the Cowboys by plenty. I reckon it's a bit of an upset and the Cowboys just come out and put the cleaners through them.
Okay.
The Cowboys normally go well against the Tigers, and that's maybe not saying much over the last few years because every team's normally goes well against the Tigers. But just I have a real feeling that Tigers going to disappoint at Leichhardt Oval on Saturday afternoon.
Something we haven't spoken about, that first game after Vegas can be difficult. Yeah, they've travelled. They would have had to do the big flight too, back to Brizzy. They actually went Vegas, LA, Brizzy, Townsville. I know they had the week off, and then you fly again to Sydney. Don't underestimate that as they walk out there to Leichhardt in front of a packed stadium. Everything's against them. They will play a little bit of a factor.
Well, you did this trip. So how long did it take the Roosters to get going?
We were flat. We played Manly, who were also there the next week. They made it fair. We kind of switched over and played, but we were flat. That next day went to Brookie, got beaten by them. It just takes you a little bit to get over that because that round one build-up is massive over there too.
Yeah.
Kind of come back off a hill. We've seen in Penrith last year. They had a really, really slow start to the year. But yeah, it's not impossible, but it is difficult and not something you're used to.
Can I ask you just one thing? It is completely off topic. Something I noticed this week, like the Bulldogs, they came back from Vegas 2 weeks ago. They got the bye this week.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice it in the preseason. Advantage, I think it's a disadvantage as a whole. What do you think?
I think it's an advantage, yeah. Just because that round one's such a big build-up, now to have 2 weeks, so they would have been able to give them time off straight after that game. They would have come back in the back end of last week, I reckon, and would have had some real hard training, weekend off, and then they're in to another full week of kind of pre-season-esque training. Then they get to prep again. They're already prepping for that round 3. I think it's a good thing. Even
though you've now got 26 games where you're only going to have 2 buys during it?
Yeah. No, it's fine. Okay. I think it's fine.
All right. Well, a game you spoke about before that you're excited for, Penrith Sharks, and how good for the people of Bathurst that they get this game. It's at Carrington Park. Like, Penrith do this better than any other club, taking games to regional parts of New South Wales, and this is a huge game. 2 heavyweights going head-to-head. I know you love the Sharks this year, Luke. How do you see this game going?
Oh, how good's this? Like, it's sold out, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
I'm so excited to watch Cronulla and how they go about it because Penrith look like they're back to their best. I want to see that spine. They had it not easy, but they really put the cleaners straight through the Titans last week. And it'll be a different ball game for them this week. But I just love them. I just think they're in such a good position as a club and organisation. Their coach, those players are all in that kind of late to mid-20s, all in their peak. They should be in the peak of their powers. And then you come up against the best defensive team in the comp. So,
is it almost a bad preparation for them coming off that game last week? Like, it was almost like in all honesty, it was almost like a third trial for them. Realistically, if we're honest, that game.
Yeah, they came out and went, "Let's go, let's play," and Gold Coast didn't want to play, so they did what good teams do.
Yeah, they did what they were meant to do,
Straight
100%. Yeah, I just wonder if just coming into this Penrith game that is just going to be such a different game.
They'll know.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. They're a mature team. This isn't a young team full of guys who are bouncing around 20, 30 games. These guys are all, 80 to 200 games. Like they know exactly what's coming. They know where they've fallen short. I've loved the chat coming out of them. There's pressure on those players too. A lot of them are off contract. They know this is, an early season. Let's see where we're at. And Fitzy will have them ready to go.
It's a fantastic test for them. I can't wait to see how Cronulla go in this one. The way the spine played last week. I find it interesting with them that they don't really have a central guy. It depends on the day who's got the hot hand, and they just lean into it. I was having a look at the stats from last year. You look at the top 20 try assists from last season. There's only one team that has at least 3 of their spine members in it, and it's Cronulla, and they've got all 4. It's crazy how they share the load, and I do sort of wonder if when we get to the back end of the season, if it is a concern that there isn't a main guy. It's sort of a committee sort of thing. I guess it depends how you want to look at it, but
the two teams that looked the best last week, Melbourne and Cronulla, and they probably play similar, right? We've spoken about every show in the preseason about who's the team 6 and who's their 7 and who's the boss. They're the two teams that don't have a boss, or you could say their 9 is the boss.
Yeah,
for both teams. But I just think they both play a really attractive brand, and they've just got to get it right. Cronulla are going to be there, and this game, whether they win or lose this, it doesn't matter, right? It will matter to them, but they're going to be there at the end. They've got to find a way to get past a Melbourne or a Penrith.
I know. I went down to Melbourne at the end of last year for their prelim final, and I was at the casino after, and there was a few of the guys there, and I spoke to one of them who sort of said, most disappointing thing is we knew we were ready for that. We're at this level now. Like, I feel like the last few years there's been are they really the real deal? Are they just filling seats? I think the Sharkies now know we can compete with the best. Like, we can win a comp here. Which is a huge jump for them to make. Because, it wasn't that long ago, the monkey off the back of can't win a finals game, can't compete against top teams, and just every year they've ticked off one extra box. It'd be unreal to see them take that next step this year.
Do you think they can take the next step this year? Do you think they can win the premiership?
I think they can. Yeah, I think they can. Whether they do or not, I'm not as confident, but I think they're a team that can do it for sure. I think when you go back to that prelim final last year, like, there was a little trick play by Munster that put Ryan Pappenhausen over for a chip over the top. Like, that was what separated the two sides. Cronulla were in that game up to their eyeballs, and 2 years ago, I don't believe that they could have been.
Yeah. Adam needs a little bit of help. I'd love to see Tom Hazelton go to that next level, and then Ramian looks like a different player.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of chat about his contract and things like that, but I felt like they missed that X factor in the centres. Hero's a great defensive centre. I feel like they need Ramian on. And then 3 out of 4 of those spine members have to have career years. Nico's had the Dally Emmy. I feel like Brayley's there. Trindle looks there. And I like Will Kennedy. I think he's an underrated player. They've given him the 1 year. I think he's a great player. They just need those. They need 3 of them. They need an outside back, and they need someone to come with that. And
there's also guys to come back into this side, like Cam McInnes has got to come back in. Teague Wilton's got to come back in. Mulatalo's got to come back in. Like, some huge ins to come throughout the season.
You think they can win the comp though as well?
I do, yeah. They've got to get it together. They've got to get past that hurdle, which they haven't been able to do. But they're definitely going to be one of those teams that are fighting it out.
Who wins this game? I saw on Ladbrokes they're paying $3.30 to win the comp, to win this game. The Sharks,
really?
Yeah, $3. Huge outsiders. Panthers $1.30.
I think they get it done. The Sharks. I think they're just so up at the moment. I think they get it done. It won't be easy. They're gonna have to find a way through Penrith, but I think they just get it done. I think they're going to go on a little run here at the start of the season.
I've got Penrith winning, but I'd be swallowing that start with Cronulla for sure. I think it'll be tight.
8.5 is the start, which is
Huge.
interesting. Tungo on the bench, or he actually in the extended bench, he obviously was dropped before the start of the kickoff, and Jenkins came in, and they've done that again. It's a funny one. Tungo looked like he was going to be their next great centre. You know, he came in there. He has had some brilliant performance in first grade, but he's obviously not in the best 17 at the moment.
Yeah, well, not only was he on the bench, he played 80 minutes in New South Wales Cup, which
Yeah.
I didn't realise as well. So, I mean, mate, I love Tungo. I think he's a great player. He's been sensational for them. But there's been times over the last 4 years where he has a month where defensively you just go, what he is doing here? But he backs him in every single year, Ivan, and he gets to September and Tungo delivers for him every single time. So I find it interesting that this is the time when Ivan's gone, no, I've had enough. I need to make a move here. I also think, though, and I know he didn't get on the field the other day, but there's not many players that I could think of that I think could be better suited to actually being on this six-man bench and coming off. Like, he's obviously played centre a lot, but in reserve grade, he's played a lot of back row. And, you've seen the last few years when they turn him under, just how much chaos he causes through the middle. I think he'd also be a great player to be able to just throw one in the middle during a game and just let him go. I know they're already using Cogger in that sort of realm, but and if you're another club out there that can get your paws on him, I think he'd be a great signing for someone else.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think Ivan came out in the presser and said his preparation's been compromised for things outside of his control.
Mhm.
So I don't believe this is I don't believe he's been dropped.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think something's happened away from rugby league,
Okay.
whether it's personal health, I don't know. And I've got the feeling just from those words, it was need to get him some match fitness. He hasn't been able to train or prepare properly. They're going to give him a couple games. He may come into this starting team straight away, although Tom Jenkins was
Fantastic.
outstanding last week.
And he always is, Tom Jenkins. Whenever he comes in, he does a job for them. You brought up Cogger playing that role off the bench, third half, playing the yo ball playing role. What did you think of it? I loved it.
I loved it, and I think long-term, fantastic for Yo to just play 50 minutes. If he can go 27 weeks playing 50 minutes instead of 80, like so many benefits to come from that. He's a guy that plays Origin. He's got a World Cup at the end of the year. He just did the Ashes. He's just playing a ridiculous amount of football at his age. I think it worked really well for them. And Cogger, you talk about Cogger, you talk about Milky Jenkins. Both went up to Newcastle. Didn't look like first graders up there for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Come back to Penrith and they're world beaters again. You'd be filthy if you're the Knights. Jesse Ramian, another one we
Yeah.
mentioned before.
I was surprised they used Cocker like that, but then take your mind back to that grand final when he came on for Jerome and that role he played. I think Ivan's taken that little blueprint and gone, I love that they're going to give Yowie just a bit of a spell at certain times because he has played an enormous amount of footy, copped a real bad head knock in that Ash, and they're going to need him in August and September. So I think it's great. I think it's going to help Nathan a lot too. We saw Nathan in that grand final where Cogger played more on ball for him, and Nathan got to play at the back, which unlocked a whole nother side to his game, which Cogger will be able to do that.
Do you think it's something we'll see in the game more and more? Because I think last year Latu Fanu did a little bit for the Tigers with some success, and do you think that's something we could see more and more, Luke?
I think we could, especially with the new rules, Charlie, with the six agains and things like that. If you feel like you've got that momentum in a game, you feel like you've got the other team's middle in a bit of trouble, you can see these players coming on, playing in that third type of half role. Probably depends on your team setup too, whether you've got Blaze Talangi, genuine 6/fullback, where he's going to sweep around, things like that. There's room for this. Tyron Wishart's played it.
Yep.
For Melbourne to great effect too. So there is room for it. I think we will see it, Charlie, when teams feel like they have got that third half option.
Love it. Let's talk about these games on Sunday. We'll do this kind of quickly, boys, because we've been going probably for too long now for everyone at home. They're probably sick of hearing our
Don't switch
voices. But the games on Sunday, there's two massive clashes. First of all, Brookie Oval, Manly Knights. We said it was must-win for the Cowboys. Is it must-win for Manly?
I think it is, and I think they're going to go down. I really like Newcastle in this game. I think they're at like $2.60 or something. I think the value is unreal. Takiaho's out of this game, so I was already worried about the Manly pack. I also think the reality is with Manly, like last week, that game couldn't have gone better for them in the first 15 minutes. Still managed to get beat by the Raiders. I think the Knights and KP, they'll be up and about after the back of Vegas. 2 weeks to prepare. I really like Newcastle in this one.
Manly at Brookie, daytime game, they're not losing.
26 degrees and sunny as well.
They're not
Nice
losing.
fast track.
Not
They're
losing.
not losing. They looked angry last week. They've probably heard a bit of the noise coming out from all of us experts about, not tipping to have the greatest season. They were good last week, and then they let themselves down at certain times. It's a hard place to go in an afternoon game. The way Seabold gets them to throw the ball, and I thought Turbo looked
unreal,
really good last week. Like, I wasn't sure what to expect. He looks like he's got a bit of a point to prove. Even that first try he got up, you could see that hunger in him. So I honestly think they're specials.
Okay.
Rookie.
Kobe Hetherington comes into that starting role because Takiaho's been ruled out. But then you look at the player who's coming to the bench, Paul Bryan, who's played one game of footy before for the Newcastle Knights. It'll be his club debut for Manly. Is that a concern that one front rower gets ruled out and the depth is clearly not there at Manly?
I think it's a big concern. Yeah, it was always my worry going into this season with Manly. I think the other thing is, boys, like when you saw Takiao went down last week, like he's a champion of our game. I love him, but I just don't think Turbo can be playing 60 minutes for the middle anymore. I think he is a fantastic leader. He's a must-have in the team. But I think he's sort of opening 20 minutes and then bring him on later if need be. But I just thought it was a Sanders try that he went past Turbo. Yeah, I just think, unfortunately for Jake, the game has just moved past him a little bit, just the way it's changed and how quick it's become. I think it has sort of gone away from Gerbo a little bit. So, personally, I'd have Kobe Hetherington as my starting lock, and Gerbo would be one of my front row forwards moving forward.
I'll respectfully disagree with you. Like, I think he is as tough as they come. You know when you're running through the middle when you run at Jake. I thought they brought him back on too early in that Canberra game. He came on 6 or 7 minutes in that second half, got stuck in that washing machine when the possession turned. And he was probably a little underdone, didn't have a trial. I would use him how Madge used him in Origin, right? Go for 15, 20, give us everything. And if we need you at the back end, depending on interchanges, we'll bring you back after halftime for that back end. I agree with you with that. It is concerning, like the front row depth. Like Siwa's 35 now. He's a year older than me, 35 going on 36. To not have these young guys coming through, they're going to be tested. Yeah, they're going to be tested all year. It's an interesting year for Anthony Seibold.
Yeah, I think as well, like when you look at the bench last week, I think Kobe Hetherington and Ethan Bullimore, they both played about 35 minutes. I think you got to get more out of those guys with the rest of this pack.
The way, like, Bullimore is there, he should be like he's one of their highest paid forwards. Like, he needs to be playing. Pay a bloke like that, playing 40, 50 minutes.
Yep, let him go. And like Kobe Hetherington, he's arriving there with a premiership ring. He sort of played that lock forward role for Brisbane last year at different points. I just think they've got to lean into him a little bit more.
Sandon Smith in the halves, obviously no Fletcher Sharp. Fletcher Sharp for me had the 20 minutes where he played. It was the most impressive 20 minutes of the entire opening round. But we see Sandon Smith slot in there, which many people expected this to be the look of the spine anyway. Is it a big loss, though, not having Fletcher Sharp?
I was down on ground level for that game, as I mentioned, and I was a big fan of Sandon. I was banging on the drum. He would work perfect with Dylan. He was outstanding. I didn't realise how big he was and fast, and the way he moved across the ground. And then the way they played Ponga, doing a lot of that halfback type of stuff too. It suited him perfect. Super disappointed he's gone straight away, but it gives Sandon the opportunity. Now Sandon will know he's got 2 or 3 weeks to cement that down. He knows his role. He's on that right side. He doesn't have to worry about losing his spot next week. He's going to be there all year off the bench, but he's a punter, Sandon. He's a punter. I said he needs a little bit more control in his game, but it's an exciting opportunity for him.
It's a loss, but I really like Sandon as well. I think as well, like Justin Holbrook's worked with him for years at the Roosters, so
knows him well.
He'll be ready to go. And I mean, mate, when he was thrown into Las Vegas on the left-hand side, he trialled on the right-hand side and did really well. They threw him in on the left, and I think he set up the first try for Bradman Best over there. So he's a good footballer, Sandon Smith. So I think they'll be okay.
2 of the most disappointing teams last weekend were obviously the Dolphins. The Dolphins because of the expectations. Everyone thought they were going to be a premiership contender. They concede 40 points, and it's kind of those red flags of the Dolphins from last year where they can score a bunch of points, but their defensive frailties show at times. On the other side of the coin, the Titans had all this promise under Josh Hannay, and then absolutely offered nothing in round one, is a must win for the Dolphins.
Jeez, I fell into the Titans trap.
You did. You tipped them for the
I
top
still,
8.
No, I still think they're going to be. I still think they'll be there around
The
there.
8.
That might sound
Seriously,
crazy.
after seeing what you've
I
seen.
know, but yes, I do. I think they've changed. There's a cultural shift at that club. You can see it. I might sound like an absolute idiot after this.
The cultural
Bring this
shift is
back up,
true, though. I spoke to
Charlie.
Gordon Tallis, who's the owner, and he said
Those boys wouldn't have re-signed.
100%.
Tino's not silly. That Cooper By had plenty of teams coming after him. They're not silly.
Cooper Bye could have been playing outside Jerome Hughes in Melbourne if he wanted to. He chose to stay there. There has to be something there.
Yeah. The culture's incredible. Doesn't mean they're going to win
No.
15 footy games and make the top 8. You know, I think they're going to struggle this year. I think you're off your head if you think they're still making the top 8.
Let's talk about this at the end of the year. The Dolphins, though, they would have been super disappointed. I think they had 60 put on twice in the last 5 games and 58 once. And then to watch them come out and defend like that again, it was like, wow, have they gone away and worked on this? Because if they can get their defence right, they're going to be in every game. Katoa's going to get them over the line in a lot of those games. They've got strike everywhere, but they need to sort it out. Like they need to sort it out. Plath comes back to the bench. I love him. Ray Stone comes back. I love him too. I thought Morgan Knowles was good last week without being great. Like they were put under a lot of pressure, but they need to fix that fragile defensive line.
I think as well up there for this game, weather's meant to be all good. So, perfect stage for both these sides. Titans, as you just said, mate, I'm just so concerned after that first game.
Don't be concerned, Guru. It's a long season, brother.
And I mean, as another example, like I remember getting on the plane back from Vegas last year and everyone was telling me the Warriors, they're Gonski, Luke Metcalf can't be the halfback. It's all going up in flames. He would have won a Dally M if he didn't get injured. They turned it around.
Jaden Campbell one hurt.
Yeah.
Like the trial with that spine, they would have had to play a certain style with that. Then bring Ilias is a total different player.
But Jaden Campbell doesn't stop 50 points from getting scored. 36.5.
Against Cronulla. I don't know, Charlie. Get off your back. Guru tip Parramatta. Let's talk about that.
Who do you like this game? Are you both tipping the Dolphins or are you going to stick with your Titans here?
You got it.
The Dolphins. The Dolphins will be they a lot of really good experts have tipped them to make the 8, and they got blown away by South. I know South wobbled there a bit at the back, but they got blown away.
Yeah, I'm going to go the Dolphins as well. I think Plath is an enormous in for them. Played reserve grade last week, obviously. If he goes from reserve grade to Origin this year, I won't be surprised at all.
How do they fit Plath, Donahue, Knowles, Ray Stone? I know Ray will probably play up front, but
I probably think at full strength. I'm not sure if Ray's going to be in the side realistically because, mate, you got to remember as well, like you got Flegler and you got Gilbert starting at the moment. You got Dan Saifiti to come back as well. So
Felice on
even
the
with
bench.
a 6-man bench, I don't know how they fit all these guys in. It'll be interesting to see Donahoe's role when he obviously Plath. I would assume he has to be the 13. But when Jeremy Marshall-King returns in round 7 or 8, I believe they're saying, then you've got to fit Plath in there somewhere. It's a great problem to have.
Yeah. I don't think Morgan Knowles has come from England to play on the bench as well. Christian Wolf's brought him over here because he's a Christian Wolf man. They were together at St. Helens. Jimmy Graham speaks so highly of Morgan Knowles. Christian Wolf's, I assume, has convinced him that he's going to come be a starter over here and come play big minutes for the Dolphins. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made that move from England.
Yeah, I just don't know how it all fits. There's so many guys there that you can't leave Donahoe out of the team in my opinion. He was almost their best player last year. He was unreal.
He was.
Plath is so good.
I like Oren Keely as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
him there.
his only disadvantage is he's going to Melbourne next year, so at least he's not long term. But even when you take him out of it, there's just so many guys there, and Felice Kafusi has to be in the side somewhere for me as well. It's, as I said, for a team that's 3 years in, who the first team list we got, you went, there's 3 first graders in that side to be in this
Still
position
beat us
now.
round 1.
It's crazy what they've done though.
Who do you like in this game? You said the Dolphins.
Yeah,
You said the Dolphins as well.
Bounce back.
Well, great show, boy. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you both in. Can't wait for this round of footy. We know a little bit from round 1, but I think we'll know a lot more after round 2. Thanks very much for joining us, boys.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, mate.